Hi, I'm Christax, and welcome to my channel. A new Spiral Abyss challenge was released just a few days ago. As usual, Floor 12 is there to test your character builds, skills, and patience. In this video, I will provide some basic tips on how to improve your chances of getting those precious 36 stars in the Spiral Abyss. I will give some guides on which character to bring and the gimmicks of each enemy. So buckle up and get ready to dive to the Spiral Abyss. The Spiral Abyss is the ultimate test of your character builds. Well-rolled artifacts can be a big game changer when clearing the Spiral Abyss. Unfortunately, most of my artifacts still need significant improvement as I don't have the golden standard of 40 critical values artifacts. However, we can still improve our chances by upgrading character talents and equipping the best possible weapons. With proper information about the floor enemies and the right team composition, it is possible to clear the Spiral Abyss Floor 12 even with mid-tier artifacts. Team composition is very important. For your Team 1, you will need 1 or 2 pyro characters that can apply pyro consistently. This is because in the first part of Chamber 1, you need to break the shield of the level 95 Cryo Abyss Herald. Additionally, you will also need pyro damage to break the shield of the 2 Frost Arm Lawachers on Chamber 3. On my Eula showcase, I only have Bennett on Team 1 and he alone can break the Herald Abyss shield, although it will take a bit more time. National team can easily dominate the first part since we have Xiangling and Bennett combo. Teams that can deal heavy damage even in short AoE or single target attacks are preferred, as Team 1 only deals with 1 or 2 enemies at the same time. The enemies you will face includes Maguken Ki on Chamber 2 and 2 Frost Arm Lawachers on Chamber 3. For Team number 2, you can bring your crowd control units for easily completion of Chamber 1 and Chamber 2, since this team deals with a bit crowded enemies. You will also need someone that can break the shield of Hydro Abyss Herald. In addition, Chamber 3 features the infamous Setekh Wenut. If you have a Dendro team or, more preferably, a Hyper Bloom team, I would recommend putting them on Team 2. This is because a Dendro team can easily break the Hydro Shield and deal tons of damage to the final boss of Spiral Abyss, Setekh Wenut. Chamber 1 Part 1 is fairly easy. You will deal with 3 Eremites first and Cryo Abyss Herald afterward. Not much gimmick on the Eremites. Finish them quickly as possible because you will be facing a Cryo Abyss Herald later. Since this is just a Chamber 1 and the easiest chamber on the floor 12, you can just use Bennett and take your time breaking the Abyss Herald's shield. Don't use all of your bursts since you need to deal with Maguken Ki later in Chamber 2. In my Eula team showcase, I spent most of my 3 minutes in Chamber 1 just to set the stage for the challenging Chamber 2. In Chamber 1 Part 2, you'll also need to deal with 3 Eremites and their Pokemons, and 2 Hydro Abyss Heralds. Same with Part 1, a good crowd control unit will come in handy here. In my case, I just place as many Dendro cores as possible to nuke all Eremites and their Pokemon. After dealing with Eremites, you'll face 2 Hydro Abyss Herald. Using Dendro Reaction should easily do the job here, as you can create Dendro cores from their Hydro Shield. Don't go crazy with your burst because you'll need it later when you deal with the Black Serpent Knights. Chamber 2 Part 1 is where you face off against the Spiral Abyss regular boss, Magu Kenki. Notice that you can still gain some energy particles while Magu Kenki is busy preparing his sword. After Raiden Shogun takes a selfie picture with the Magu Kenki, waste no more time dealing as much as damage as possible. Once you have reduced Magu Kenki's HP to 70%, he will use the dual sword burst. This will make him momentarily invincible, so make sure to dodge the attack as it can easily one-hit KO your character. Use the dash iframe or any skill that can dodge the attack. Positioning is also very important when dealing with Magu Kenki. He needs to dash backwards near the staircase so he will not move around too much. Make sure you are facing him when he reaches the 70% HP mark so he will move backwards.
みんながそばにいてくれるわ。ルオパー。稲光、すなわち永遠なり。せっ、よっ、せっ、ふっ、せっ、ふっ。
Restart the challenge if Magu Kenki dash forward. Magu Kenki doesn't have that much resistance, and even with mid-tier artifacts, I can deal heavy damage. While finishing off Magu Kenki, make sure that you have enough energy for the next chamber. You need to finish the first part of Chamber 3 as quickly as possible to have enough time to deal with Spiral Abyss final boss. In Chamber 2 Part 2, things becomes very interesting because you need to deal with 6 Black Serpent Knights. They are spread apart, so having a good crowd control unit will be very useful. I don't have Kazuha and my C1 Sucrose is still a work in progress, so I have to rely on Nahida's Tri-Karma Purification to share the damage among the Serpent Knights. There is not much gimmick on the Black Serpent Knights. They move slowly, and when the big guy puts his shield, just circle around and attack him from behind. It will immediately break the shield. My Nilu's Bountiful Course easily get the job done here, causing dendro explosions left and right. Nilu and Nahida are just a nasty combination. If you have Nahida, I suggest getting Nilu. If you have Nilu, you should pull for Nahida. You won't regret it. Treat the first part of Chamber 3 as a speedrun test. You will deal with 1 Ruin Guard and 2 Cryo Lavachers. As I mentioned earlier, you need to finish this part as soon as possible to have enough leeway when you face the Wenut. Make sure that your burst is readily available before you finish off the Ruin Guard, as you will face 2 Frost Arm Lavachers afterward. My Raiden Shogun is very helpful here since she can break the Cryo Shield and refill my team's energy at the same time. Make sure that the 2 monsters are together when you unleash your heavy attacks. They may look scary together, but they attack quite slowly. Finishing them within 60 seconds gives you a greater chance of completing the Part 2 of Chamber 3. Be careful of their frost aura as it creates an ice prison that traps your active character. Continuously move around to avoid getting trapped. Also, these 2 Lavachers can easily one-hit KO your character. Make sure to use iframe effectively here, either by dashing or a well-timed burst animation. For the last part of Floor 12, you will face the boogeyman of the current Spiral Abyss, Setekh Wenut. This giant mythical beast only performs 5 actions, so it's important to understand them, especially for low spender who don't have an S-tier character support or players who aren't blessed with great artifacts. The first action of Wenut is the thrust, where the giant beast surges to the ground if you're nearby, or uses Stream of Gales if you're far away. You can't deal much damage during this action, so use this as an opportunity to set up your team. The second action is called the Dig, where Wenut surfaces briefly, makes a troll face, and then dives back underground. Deal as much damage as you can during this step, but don't go crazy with your burst. Wenut will expose itself during its next action, which is when you can unleash your heavy damage. The third action is Storm Breath, where Wenut surfaces and fires Anemo projectiles. Close the distance quickly and unleash your burst damage while Wenut is busy firing on an empty target. Keep in mind that this is not your best opportunity to deal damage, as Wenut still has a 55% resistance. The fourth action is the same as the second, where Wenut surfaces briefly and then disappears again. Use this action to set up your characters and prepare for a big fight. The fifth action is your big moment. It is like studying for 5 years and now it's time to graduate. This is where Wenut surfaces, floats around, and creates 6 wind bite bullets. There are 3 important aspects to understand about these wind bite bullets. Wind bite bullets will be destroyed when hit by cryo, electro, hydro, or pyro attacks. So any AoE skills or burst within this element will be very useful here. On my Abyss Showcase run, I used the burst skill of Yelan or Nilu. You can also use Yelan's charge arrow as it deals hydro AoE damage. Second rule is, if 2 wind bite bullets are destroyed in succession, the Wenut will become paralyzed for 10 seconds. This 10 seconds window is very important. This is where you should deal the most damage as you can. You should execute this step perfectly to deal the most damage as you can. While paralyzed, it also loses 45% resistance to the elements that its wind bite bullets were destroyed by. This is where you slam your keyboard and click the mouse like there's no tomorrow.
Release the Kraken!
After Wenut's 5th action, it will just repeat the first action over again. If you were able to finish the first part within 60 seconds, you will have roughly 2 Wenut's action rotations before 120 seconds runs out. These 2 Wenut's rotations are enough to defeat it and gain the elusive 9 stars on floor at 12. Hyper Bloom is very useful here since we are dealing with single enemy. Yelan is also useful because her burst AoE and her charge attack can destroy the wind bite bullets. The Spiral Abyss is a test of patience and skills. You may need to repeat the chamber several times in order to execute the perfect rotation. It's also an opportunity to understand what is missing on your team composition and to perfect your team rotation. But amidst this challenging content, there's a potential for game burnout. Keep in mind that the Spiral Abyss is not for everyone. It's fine to skip the floor 12 for the meantime if your team still lacks some punch to get the 9 stars. Remember that you are only missing out 150 Primogems, and it's not worth the excessive anxiety as quoted by the game developers. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that the tips I shared with you today will be very helpful on your adventure in Spiral Abyss. Remember that practice and persistence are key to mastering this challenging endgame content. Keep pushing yourself, keep improving your team rotation, and keep having fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Genshin Impact content like this. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching and have a great day.